Hello and good morning. This is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. And if you are new to my channel, I am a subconscious mind scientist with 30 years in philosophy, psychology, and sociology. I'm at that moment in my life where I realized up to this particular moment that everything up to now has just been me getting into the right mindset to do what it is I actually have to do. And I'm there. And I spent the last week, this was my first week as an official. And I had this moment where I just went, it's real. Everything I've manifested, everything that I worked on, everything that I saw in my mind is now here. So I spent this last Thanksgiving week literally just sitting in the empire that I've been seeing since I was 8 years old. So it's really surreal for me right now. It's really surreal. It's so yeah, I'm sitting wearing my bathrobe, wearing my crown at 7:30 in the morning. I have meetings all day today, and I have to stay grounded. No, I don't really have to stay grounded anymore. That's the difference between a mindset is once you've internalized the mindset, you don't have to stay grounded. You are grounded. I've spoken to psychologists this week, open-minded, eager scientists and psychologists and doctors who valued and respected my opinions and who wanted to hear what I had to say because they were so desperate for answers because everything that they have been trying for their patients is not working. And I learned this week that I cannot present myself as a psychologist. In fact, to do so actually diminishes the work I've done. I had a talk with a psychologist about this yesterday morning. I told her, I said, I have tried presenting myself as a psychologist. And she says, what you have and what you are is far more valuable than a psychologist. Do not tell people you are a psychologist. It detracts from your message. And I went, oh, it's logical. It's always logical. And then the next conversation I had right after that was with a woman who is going to be my best friend and soulmate. I can feel that. And it was this long conversation, 2 hours of just realizing how far I've come, where I am now, and what I'm building. And there's this realization of purpose. And that's really where I'm now coming to you and reaching out to you. There are 5 stages of healing. There are predictable stages of the subconscious mind. And we have been taught that every healing journey is different. No, it's not. No, it's not. We have been taught that we have to do it alone. No, we don't. No, we don't. There is a lighthouse at the end of your journey. There is a lighthouse at the end of every one of our journeys. You are probably all sitting in the dark, looking at this bright light in the distance going, there's something there, I know it. And every one of you is trying to get to that light. Some of you can't see the light. Some of you see a sliver of light. Some of you saw the light, lost the light, and are looking for it again. Some of you can't take your eyes off of the light. You are all the same. I was one of you. I am one of you. I saw the light too. You're right. There is a light. When I got to the light, the first thing I realized was, oh, it's inside of me. That's funny. It's inside of all of us. It's not out there. It's inside here. My first thought was, I got to take everyone with me. The idea of leaving anyone behind in that darkness, I was overwhelmed with this severe horror of leaving anyone behind in that darkness. So in the middle of my own healing, while I was bleeding and broken and crippled, I could barely walk through the sewer sludge some days. I tried to pick up as many people as I could and carry them. I couldn't do it. This last weekend, I met a woman who was so broken in her own healing journey, and she was trying to carry everybody out with her. Put everybody down. Rule number 1 of healing: everyone's got to walk out on their own. It is the hardest thing. The thing is, you're not leaving them behind. What I did instead was left a crumb trail. I documented all of it. Everything. I have been documenting all of this since 1995. And then I wrote a book and I published it all, which is literally, this is where you begin. And then I blogged and I journaled all of it publicly. It's available. Now I've condensed it. I call these story stones, beautiful little stepping stones from wherever it is you are in life to where I am, right at the beacon. And then I took my beautiful beacon and I put the light right on those story stones. I mapped out the subconscious mind. I drew a compass. I put it all together. And now I'm accumulating all of the resources. So when you get here, I can go, yes, a party. There's people. No, this is the best part. I've got all the resources you need right here to get to the next step. It's all done. And then I look behind me and I see all the people and they're saying things like, you got to do it alone. You got to figure out your own path. No, you don't. Why are you reinventing the wheel? Who said this shit? Who told you you have to do it alone? Why do you think you have to do it alone? You have to shed everybody and get new people. Well, that you might have to do. If you're around a bunch of toxic people who are holding you down and who aren't going to pick themselves up, you can say, look, I love you, but I'm going to go grow. Now, you're more than welcome to grow with me, but I'm going to go grow now. And if you're not going to grow with me, well, I have to grow on now. In fact, that's one of my favorite things I love to say is grow on. Not go on, grow on. I'm going to be writing an article on this, and it's in my classroom. Grow on is when, well, it kind of explains itself, doesn't it? Grow on. The thing is, when you grow on, it inspires other people to grow on. But if you stay with those broken people, I'm going to say broken people, but they're not really broken. Neither are you. When you hold yourself back and stop yourself from growing on, you are setting an example. Is that really the example you want to set? It is not selfish to want to help people. But by becoming a martyr, you help no one. We took away the wrong message from Christianity. Christ said a lot, and people misinterpreted. Christ said a lot, and people misinterpreted. Christ never said, sacrifice yourself at the expense of everything. He never said that, but we're all doing it. When you grow on, you set an example. You show others that they too can grow on. There is no leaving anybody behind. That's not happening. People are choosing to not grow because they're scared. We are terrified of the unknown. So we don't grow on because we don't know what lies ahead. I've been there. I've gotten all the way to the end. And instead of being here and then keeping quiet, I'm going, you want to know what lies ahead? You want to know what's in the great unknown of after healing? After healing. I like that. After healing. I will tell you what's after healing. Every dream you ever wished as a child is there waiting for you. Mm-hmm. Every dream that you wished when you were a child, that you sent off into the universe, every dandelion plant that you picked up and blew into the wind and said, I want and I wish, the universe collected every wish and she held them for you. And they are still there. That is what is waiting for you at the end. That is after healing. After healing is knowledge. It's awareness. It's understanding. It's knowing who you are. Everyone you thought you left behind, no. Some of them are there. And then you get to that point and you go, oh my God, it wasn't alone after all. I didn't have to give up everybody and be isolated. No, that's after the seventh perspective. We resist growing because we're afraid we're going to have to leave everybody we love behind. No, that's not true. You don't say to people, I'm going to grow on now, and you're holding me back, and you cut them loose and you leave. Instead, try this. I have to grow on now. You can come with me, but I can't stay here. I'm going to set the stepping stones in my path so you can come to me if you need to. But I can't do this anymore. I have to grow on. I'm not leaving you. You are staying behind. I understand that it's scary. We can grow together, but I have to grow on. We grow at different paces. That's what's different. The journey is the same, but the pacing is what's different. The pacing is what separates us all. Some people run down this path. Other people really take a slow time going down that path. Some people turn their back on the path and say, I'm too scared. We are terrified of the unknown. So my healing journey literally accumulates all of it and says, this is the unknown. This is me shedding the light on what you don't know. So it's not scary anymore. And it's the same. It is the same for every single person. Because when we got here, I arrived with my 8 million perspectives. And I said, all right, who here has documented the journey? And everyone went, I didn't document it. Okay. Who here has compared and done the field research to determine all the similarities? And everyone went, I didn't do that. And I said, well, I have. Did you go through this? And everyone went, yeah, I went through that. And I went, yep. Did you do AYB? And they went, yeah, I did AYB. Did you do XYZ? Yeah, I did XYZ. Yeah, everyone did. Identical. Every healing journey is the same. So why are we all sitting here going, oh, you got to do this alone in every healing journey and you just got to figure it out for yourself? No. I got a map. I got a compass. I got an instruction book. And I have all the resources you need. It's all here. It's awesome. So I am going to walk out the entire journey for you. And identity is unique, not a subconscious mind. We're all going, I'm a snowflake. And yes, we are snowflakes, but only the identity, not the subconscious mind. And that's where we all fuck this up. We all think that we're unique. We all think that we're one person. Oh, no, we're not. We have 5 beautiful people inside of our heads. And it is your job, conscious awareness, to manage these 5 beautiful people inside of your head. Now, if you have multiple personality disorder, which I call multiple consciousness disorder, there's going to be more than 5 people in your head. But there's 5 people inside of you, at least. And I know how to manage them. I know how to unite your crew and get you steering the ship properly. Because a subconscious mind is predictable, boring even, absolutely strategic, logical, highly logical. And I have a book. So here's how this is going to go. The 5 stages of healing are these. There is the knowing. There is the belonging. There is the authority. There is the naming. And there is the owning. These are the 5 stages. Most of you are at the knowing. The knowing is the part where you're going, I don't know who I am. I have no idea where I've come from, and I don't understand. That's normal and that's okay. No one does. All healing is understanding and remembering who you are. In those orders, and you're going to go back and forth. I understand. Oh, I remember. I understand. Oh, I remember. Oh, I understand. Oh, I remember. Oh, I understand. Oh, I remember. And you're just going to go do that back and forth. Eventually, you're going to be done with remembering. And then you're going to start remembering all the good stuff. But you got to remember the bad stuff first. And you're going to understand it. And the cycle the subconscious mind keeps you in, the forgetting, and then the confusion, and then the fear of the unknown. So you forget more, and you get confused more, and you have more fear of the unknown, and then you forget more. And that, yeah, the subconscious mind, this is where it's really stupid. Yeah, that stops. And when you step into triadic healing, this cycle ends, and you start understanding and remembering. And then we use your learning centers of your brain to start charging that up like an energy, where we just faster, 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 and then combustion engine. This shit is physics. It's really awesome. And then we stabilize the belonging. There's a lot of people in the world who belong somewhere else. And that's really what this is. You belong somewhere else. You know it. Where do you belong? Because you're not where you belong. And you know it. You probably are somewhere where someone else told you you should be. And it's not where you want to be. It's not where you belong. Now, when you are in the wrong place, you are attracting the wrong people. Not the wrong people because they're bad. Not the wrong people because you're bad. The wrong people because they're not right for you. We are going to get very comfortable using the words for you. Prepositions are beautiful. And prepositions are the first problem with our communication. Prepositions complete a sentence. They conclude a thought, and they contain a lot of information. And our communication style abandons them. When you abandon them, that causes a lot of problems. It adds to the confusion. This isn't right. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The full sentence is, this isn't right for you. Well, that's wrong. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The full sentence, please. That's wrong for you. Or, that's wrong for me. Completely different meaning. And we've been cutting it off. New York City, we go a step further with words like, do you want to come with? With what? With a donkey? Do you want me to come with a donkey? I can come with a donkey. Do you want me to come with a cart? Do you want me to come with a car? Please complete the sentence. What do you want me to come with? By chopping out our sentences, we are losing the meaning. We are distorting the meaning. For you and for me are the most important meanings that there could possibly be. Because right and wrong is an ethical dilemma. But when you add the words for me or for you, it's not about it being an ethical dilemma anymore. It changes it from an ethical dilemma and a moral code and being correct or being incorrect to frequency. And that changes the entire meaning. It goes from being a negotiation and an argument about who has correct information over to this is about a vibrational frequency. And people have forgotten this. So what is right for me is not going to be right for you because my energy is tuned into Ireland. My energy is turned into New York City. And if you're not Irish, Latin, or New York City, you're probably not going to find a way to vibe with me. And if we vibe, it's not going to feel as good. Now, if you are on one of those three frequencies, oh, we're going to get along just fine. Because that's my frequency. For my identity. But my subconscious mind is identical to yours. Solid, predictable, identical to yours because every subconscious mind is identical. Scary, like freakishly so. It's really freaky. When I start breaking down how in Triadic Healing, you're going to walk away and go, wow, and you're going to see it. It's amazing. When you walk into a room and you hear 1,000 different subconscious minds, and they are all unanimous. It reminds me of the movie Toy Story. When Woody falls into the machine and he says, who's in charge? And they all go, the claw decides who will go and who will stay. That is how I hear subconscious minds. Really, truly. Everyone's going, the claw. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the bunch of subconscious minds. There's no uniqueness in a subconscious mind. It's extraordinary. So in Triadic Healing, I will be teaching you the difference between the identity and the subconscious mind so that you can hear the difference, so that you can maneuver your own and you can recognize when yours has kicked in and when your identity is functioning. Here's a clue. If your subconscious mind is active, you're most likely afraid and you're most likely in a trigger. You most likely are trying to avoid something dangerous. When you feel safe, when you feel comfortable, your identity glows like a beacon. The beacon inside of you is your identity. So when you realize that you're not where you actually belong, when you find your frequency and you realize that your frequency has you somewhere else, you're going to want to get there. It's why we have overcrowdedness in the world in some places, because there's a lot of people in the wrong place in the world. So as the knowing sets in, a lot of people are going to go, I don't belong here. And we are. It's going to be amazing. We are going to see a lot of mass movement in the world where there's going to be a lot of people shifting, shuffling, and moving. A lot of people living in New York City who should not be here because they don't belong here. They don't want to be here. A lot of people all over the world going, why am I here? I belong here. Go home. It's extraordinary. Go home. And there's a lot of people who don't know where that is yet. It will come to you. That's stage 2. That is, some of you just, it's that first place that comes to in your gut. The part of you that says, when I retire, I'm going to be here. Oh, that's your home. Get there now. Get there now. The next stage is the authority. That you could almost say that the first stage is the autonomy. But the third stage is the authority. It's when you know who you are and you decide to wear the crown. That's right. It's when you finally say, it's time to wear the crown because I'm in charge of my life. When you get to that point, you will develop a summation of who you are and where you belong and what your power is. And that is your naming. I am an oral historian and a subconscious mind scientist. And that is my name. Knowing your name defines you. And identity has got to be defined. If she isn't defined, identity must be defined. Definition is your coordinates. That's what definition is. It is your coordinates and it is your depth. When I say depth, think of it as you are a submarine and you are lost. But when you know your name, you know your coordinates and your depth and your precise location in the world and in the dimension. Without your name, you will not know where and who you are, and you will not have your coordinates or your depth. You need your name. Now, if you've been called names and if you have a problem with labels, most people have an aversion then to naming. And this is a problem because they are avoiding their actual coordinates and depth. And that's delaying their healing. And the last one is owning. Now, I can wear the crown. I can know that I am queen of Authenticity City. I can know where I am in the universe. I can know my place. It's on that dais right there at my throne. And I can have my subjects come in, clean me up, dress me, put a crown on my head, and call me Your Majesty. And I'll know it. And I might be in the palace. And I might hold myself with that authority. And I can still stand in the back of the room, waiting for anybody else to stand up and take that throne. There is a difference between wearing a crown and standing on the stage to say, this is who I am and I'm owning it. That is what we refer to as your purpose. Your heading. That is when you decide, all right, I know I'm the captain, but now I'm going to do something about it. This is the stages of healing. This is what you're doing. You're not getting over trauma. You're not moving on. Oh, no, you are not. You are understanding who you are, what happened to you. You are remembering who you are. You are taking responsibility for it, prioritizing it, claiming it, owning it, donning your crown, and taking the stage. This is the process. Healing is such an understatement. What you are doing is remembering, discovering. That is what you are doing. There's that moment in our lives where we think things like, something is off. Something is wrong. This isn't right. And then there's the next stage where we think it can be better. I gotta figure this out. And then there's the moment where you realize Your head is too messed up for you to function. And that's when we think things like, I got to heal, because you got to get out of your own way. And you are clueless as to what it is you are really doing. All you know is maybe some days you don't want to be alive. And maybe some days you think you are worthless and nothing. And then you start to weed through it. And you're going, I got to do this alone. I got to do this alone. No, you don't. No, you don't. I have seen this thousands of times. I have a laboratory. I have field research. I have case studies. I have done nothing else for 30 years but study and master healing. And you are all the same, which is good, because now it's definitive, it's predictable, and it's simple. What you lack is the map, the compass, the book, the instructions, the how-to guide, the answers, the clarity. So I take my beacon, I shine it on the story stones that I left you in my path, and say, this is everything you need to know about healing. Take whatever you want. Take your therapy and apply it to triadic healing. Take your yoga and your Tai Chi and your meditations and your manifestations. Take your self-help books. Now, plug it into triadic healing, because you need to see the big picture. And that's what you've been missing. Now, if you're a theoretical learner, I get into the history. If you want the logic, I've got tons of that. You want the science? I'm working with neuroscientists. We're working on it, and that's something that'll be delivered to you. You want the resources and the tools? We got you covered. Everything you need laid out in a gorgeous package for you. This is the healing engine. Here's the other thing, and this is my favorite part. You're going to hear me say that a lot, because everything is my favorite part. I love it all. I love it all. My favorite part in this moment is this. It's our natural way of living. It's the way it's supposed to be. So as you step into this, your brain is going to turn on. And it's going to go, oh my God, I'm home. And your learning centers are going to be activated. And it's going to absorb this information. And it's going to correct all of the errors. It's going to shed everything you've picked up. And it's just going to shift and correct your machine like crazy. Because this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it was until. If you want to know about that story, I explain that too. It is a beautiful world. We have just been lost for a very long time. And everyone is starting to remember at the same time. Everyone is on the same healing journey. And you're all coming to the very same point. It's so beautiful. The world is healing. It's remembering, and it's waking up. I'm the first. And I wrote the book. There are people right behind me. I have people in my circle who have found me. And when I talk to them, they go, oh my God, I'm there. Holy shit. And I'm going, I know. Now, gather around because it's going to get big. And we're all coming to the same point. We are all going to the same destination. And we all have taken the exact same path to get here, except I wrote it all out. So when everybody read my story, every single one of them went, this is what happened to me. And everyone went, but this is what happened to me. And suddenly we were all the same. And no one was alone. And that was the delusion, that every one of us thought we were alone, that every one of you thinks you're alone. And you're not. You are not alone. That's part of the delusion. It'll be broken down for you later in the course. So this is part 1. I have corresponding literature on my website under the classroom where you can go and you can read about the 5 stages. It's as simple as possible. So you can watch the video and then you can turn around and read the documentation. And if you want that one-on-one, I've got my classes. If you want the Q&A, I've got my master classes. If you want me to apprentice you, I'm very selective on who I apprentice. If you want to become my apprentice, if you want to jump into my mentorship, it's available. But that's a screening process, and I am very selective on who I work with. I do public speaking, so you can catch me live on stages where I step out of my storybooks and I present myself and my journey to the people. I also host events quarterly where it is a full, massive, let's juice up the healing and let's get the momentum going so you guys launch. And then you'll be set off. Basically, you get 3 to 5 days of just pure juiced up triadic healing. And then you are released into the world to do whatever it is you need to do with your healing. And then I have the next event that comes up in 4 months, 3 months, it's quarterly. So every 3 months of the year, I have another event and that just cycles through it. So you guys can come in, juice up your healing, go back out into the world. And then after 3 months, you can come back and reconvene and we'll juice you back up and then send you back out in the world. That way you keep the momentum going and the heading on your journey. So I have events. I have monthly masterclasses. You can grab my public speaking events where I'm on stage. Or you can become my apprentice. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.